The kitchen was tiled white in an attempt to make it look neutral, but on the wall hung an old-fashioned little egg cupboard, decorated with blue Delft tiles. Across the chair lay a red apron. Uli had flung his slippers into one corner. There was a colourful calendar on the wall, piles of newspapers on the sideboard, and the kitchen clock had a friendly white porcelain face. I could tell how restless I was by looking at the clock. I'd only been sitting there for a quarter of an hour, but it seemed like a lifetime in that intense, drawn-out silence. I even listened with my eyes, my mouth, my tense shoulders. I couldn't hear their voices, and felt miserable and impatient that neither of them had yet said a word. They probably hadn't even looked at or turned to face each other. Uli was probably still standing stiffly in the middle of the room, his expression rigid. Thin, very tall Joachim with his bad posture was probably still over by the window. When I'd left the room earlier, he'd turned to face the unpaved street, which was muddy brown and scattered with puddles. Although I couldn't see his expression, I knew he was blushing. He'd been blushing that night too when he'd run into us at the bar. He seemed to feel responsible for our drunken escapades. That had been the day before yesterday, Easter Sunday. Uli had invited me to go with him to the dance bar, the only one in our small town. He'd said, "But we're not taking your apostle with us." Then he'd immediately corrected himself. "He's a wonderful lad, no doubt. I approve of him, you know that. But today, I want to go out with you on my own, no third wheels. Perhaps," he added, laughing as he said it, "perhaps it will be our last time." "You're not thinking of getting married?" I asked, and laughed too, even though I felt jealous. He looked at me. "I still have the ridiculous hope that I'll meet a girl like you." "I'm not getting married just yet," I said quickly. "You're a funny couple. You meet every 3 months and start squabbling before you've even left the station," Uli said. "We don't squabble." "Call it what you will, differences of opinion. Even worse." We left without Joachim. The barwoman had light blonde hair and a full figure. The skin around her eyes and under her chin was leaden and puffy. She was wearing coral-coloured earrings. As she washed the glasses, she spilled the town gossip in a chirpy, unmalicious way. I liked her very much. She was always friendly to us, even when we were students and broke, and had propped up the bar all night nursing fizzy water and a single vodka. At first, I found it funny to hear all those whisperings about people we'd been to school with, or sometimes greeted on the street, or at the cinema, or who we just knew because everyone knows everyone else in a small town. But her stories didn't touch me. They were from a world that felt foreign, petty and narrow-minded. If I tried to picture that world in colour, it swam in grey tones next to violet and a couple of pink spots. In a fit of arrogance, I thought, the problems some people have. And here we are, on phase 2 of construction, struggling with 1,000 trying issues, quota fulfillments and lost time, not to mention material shortages. I told Uli this because I thought he'd be facing the same problems at his shipyard. And I told him about my brigade. We were welding high-alloy steel sourced from West Germany, and we still had to buy West German electrodes. Uli said, "You can't build a socialist plant if you have to rely on Hirsch and Mannesmann. When those companies back out, you're done for." Hold on, I said heatedly. "The big guy, our foreman, has been experimenting with our electrodes, and it's working. He's already saved us hundreds of thousands of marks." The barwoman stared at me in amazement. "I thought you were a painter now." "When the big companies back out," Uli repeated, "you'll go bust. We have no steel, sweetie. Ask your clever big guy to produce steel that can withstand tons of pressure." He patted my hand. "Don't talk about things you don't understand." From a sidelong glance or a smile now and again, we realised that people thought we were lovers, even though we looked very alike with our thin, brownish faces and thick, flat brows. We knew some of the young men and women who were elbowing their way onto the tiny dance floor, which was bathed in a golden-brown glow. Engineers, a dramaturge, doctors and former school friends spending the Easter holidays back home. A handsome, heavy-lidded blonde boy came and stood next to me, propping his elbows on the black glass counter. "Hans," I said. His lids slid back slowly to reveal pale blue eyes.